Live. Welcome back to another video from our channel. Thank you for tuning in, viewing, subscribing. We appreciate all of y'all. My name is Sergeant Ryan, Rye Guy. This is one of our another great videos to get to know our great recruiter, Sergeant Ethan Mondo Warren.
Yeah, boy.
So we're gonna ask him a lot of questions, kind of grill him, just like the video he did for me, so you can know who he is.
Yep.
All right. This is live. If you want to ask questions, you're more than welcome to for our viewers out there. But if you want to say anything, we'll just kind of get into it.
No, got nothing to say. Feel free to ask some questions.
Yeah, I got my smarticle glasses on today, so I feel like +5 smartness going on.
Oh yes, it does have an intelligence modifier attached with that, so a little bit of the armor proficiency bonus.
I'm liking it, man. What y'all think? Think they look good? I don't know. Never wore glasses.
Hey, if you think he needs glasses or other forms of birth control like his BCGs that he has on, go ahead and I'll create a poll and you can go ahead and tell us if he needs to wear glasses.
Let's do that. Create a poll. Let me know if I need to wear glasses. Y'all have the power. We'll see what happens from there. I like that idea.
Hey man, you're gonna make me sing. I'm gonna make you. I'm gonna make you wear silly glasses.
Yes. Right? We have an artist on today. You're going to hear more about his background on his musical and theater career. We are very gifted to have him on the show. He will be singing to y'all every Fridays. We're working the details out.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it, man. How long have you been in the Army?
So I've actually been in almost 7 years now. It'll be, actually, no. Oof. Joined in 2012, so it's coming up on 8 years, actually. So it'll be 8 years, July 3rd. So the day after I joined was the 4th of July. And so I remember getting to basic training and it was like, hey, yeah, congratulations, you're in basic training. And I was like, cool, it's the 4th of July. Can we watch fireworks? And they're like, there's no fireworks. So it was fun. It was fun though. But never forget it. So I remember the morning that I woke up, the last meal that I had, which was from Rodolfo's Tacos. It was just a massive burrito. And it was so good. Any chance that I get to go back there, I always go back to that little tiny hole-in-the-wall rrestaurant in my hometown, Rodolfo's Tacos, and it's just fantastic. But anyway, yeah, that was almost 8 years ago. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So out of all the other branches, what motivated you to join the Army?
So a few things actually. I was looking at a couple different branches. My dad was in the Army, but my grandpa was in the Marines. So I was like, I've lived with my dad, and so it was kind of that headbutting family. I don't know if you had that, but sometimes when you live with someone for 20 plus years, you create these like fighting moments and stuff like that. So I think because me and my dad were so much alike, I didn't really get along with him as well as I wanted to. Now that I'm out of the house, our relationship is fantastic. And so I was heavily considering, I was like, I want to do this. I want to go into the military. I spending some time with my grandpa over the years, all I remember were good times, not really bad times. And then with my dad, it was like, okay, well, I have a few memories where I'd like to forget, I guess, just because it's life, right? And then it was just like, no, I love my dad. I love what he does. It is something that's going sort of a family legacy, as you were. My grandpa was really proud of me, even if I joined the Marines. But my grandpa was really proud of me. My dad was obviously really proud of me. And then that's pretty much what motivated me to get into it, because I knew that I was going to do it. Just growing up in the environment and the lifestyle, knowing what I was getting myself into, it's something that I wasn't afraid of doing, something that would have bettered myself and has bettered myself, and that was really the motivation to join.
Okay. That's actually a really great answer. I thought you kind of went to the Army simply, like you said, family background. It's kind of cool to hear about your grandpa. I didn't know that actually about you. Okay.
Lives in Oregon actually, so that's one of the reasons why I came here.
Have you seen him since you've been back?
Driving down, yes. So I do have plans to go see him after we're allowed to go traveling.
Oh, that's
so. Yeah. But yes, every year we try to go do a deep sea fishing trip over on the coast of Oregon. Father's Day actually is when we normally go out. So hopefully this next Father's Day, if he's feeling good, we'll go out fishing.
Okay. All right. So what made you choose your job, and what is your job for the viewers that don't know?
So I'm a 15 Tango, which basically is just a UH-60 helicopter mechanic, maintainer, general maintenance on a Black Hawk helicopter. So really weird. I walked into my recruiting station, right, and I was like, I know I want to join the Army. I don't know what I want to do though. My dad had aviation background, so he was it's what's referred to as 15 whiskey, so a UAV pilot. And I was like, is UAV open? Because I was like, this is really cool to fly drones, you know, and just to operate the system. And they said, yeah, no, that's really popular, and you'll probably never get it. And I was like, oh, that sucks. I was like, okay, well, yeah, I don't really know what I can pick yet because I wasn't tested, and so I didn't want to like get job locked or anything like that. And I was like, all right, well, let me go up and take the test. And I came back, and at that point, I really just said, don't give me cook. I don't want to cook. A little bit. It's kind of similar to you, right? I actually had experience in the food service industry, and it was just not for you. It wasn't for me. Yeah, that's it.
Some people love it, not for us.
So I was just like, I don't want to do fast food. I don't like dealing with customers like that. And I was just like, it's not for me. I don't want to do it. But can you give me aviation? And he's like, let me pull it up in the system. He pulled it up in the system, didn't find anything like the first day or two, and called me like a week later. Literally called me a week later. He's like, hey, Warren, I got this job open for you. It's going to be great. I got you 15 Tango. And I went, what's 15 Tango? And so I started asking questions. He's like, no, it's really good. You're going to be a Black Hawk helicopter mechanic and a crew chief. And I was like, that sounds really dope. You mean I get to fly on helicopters and do all these cool missions and stuff like that? And he's like, yeah, you could do that. And I was like, sign me up. So literally I went up the very next day. So we reserved my job and I went up immediately and got my job locked in. And it was just something that sounded really cool at the time. And obviously I've enjoyed it up until now. I've enjoyed it. Up until now, it's kind of like it's a redundant statement, but yes, I've enjoyed it. But it was just like, it sounded really cool at the time, and that's really why I chose it. And it was in aviation, which was something that I wanted to do anyway.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I know you've been to a lot of places. Okay.
Yes.
So let me break it down to, what is the most memorable place that you were able to go to?
Ooh. I immediately had a mission pop into my head, not just one place that I've been in, but literally an entire mission that we did. It's we did a Pacific Pathways mission, which was team building exercises with Malaysia, Indonesia, and Japan. And I remember a lot of what we did in Malaysia because it was just hot and humid, and working out there on the aircraft. I remember I was replacing one of the components of the aircraft in the aircraft. And it's easily 10 to 15 degrees hotter in the aircraft. And I came out and my clothes were all drenched in sweat. So I remember that vividly. But that whole mission, I remember like gearing up for it. I remember leaving for it. Malaysia was really fun. Japan was probably the best time that I ever had. So that I can't really give you one specific place, but that mission, the Pacific Pathways mission. And I took a lot of videos with that when we were in Malaysia. They had like this outdoor museum that you could walk. It wasn't really a museum. It was an outdoor museum, right? And you could walk through it, and they showed you. It was basically like they're like, this is what we do when we need to build shelters. So you saw a bunch of different shelters, whether it was like marshland shelters, whether it was in the tree shelters because they have like tigers and stuff. And then we continued walking through. They showed us some of the traps that they use for catching animals to help feed themselves. So if it was like monkey traps or something like that, or if it was just protecting yourself against the more dangerous environments of the jungle. And then at the very end of that whole thing, after we did all that, they basically were like, would you like to try some of the food that we make when we're out there? So they had like a huge, really wet log that they split open, and they pulled these huge grub worms out of. Huge, absolutely huge. Just like a little over an inch and just plump, like really fat grub worms. And they were like, these are filled with protein. They're really good, and they taste like warm pus. And they tasted like warm pus. So it was kind of gross. And then they had snake as well as like frog and stuff like that as well, because they have like these really big toads.
Wow.
So that was really memorable. And then when we went to Japan at the end of that whole mission set, it was designed to do cross training with them as well, because we were doing like urban operations. We taught them how to air assault for like what we do.
Yeah.
And we got to do these cultural mixers basically. So we got to go and sit down with them, play games, drink, talk to them, just kind of like basically joke around the entire time, just having fun, basically a massive party. And then one night we had a family night. So we were actually basically adopted by, he was the equivalent of a sergeant major of the aviation unit that was there.
Mm-hmm.
And he invited us over. He didn't speak any English, but his wife spoke a little bit, and then he had like 3 or 4 children, one boy and a couple girls. The children all spoke perfect English. His son and I got along really well because he was a UH-1, so basically my version, their job, the helicopter maintainer. So we talked a lot about that. Talked to his dad because he was a sergeant major, basically in charge of part of the aviation unit that was there. Spent a few hours we had like a traditional meal. I got to talk about a lot of the culture. We got to ask a lot of questions, and at the very end, we did sort of like a gift exchange. And so we gave them. I know it was handmade, but I can't remember exactly what it was. But I still have what he gave me. It's actually in the other room. So it was really fun. So that whole mission was just really memorable to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. The biggest thing is with the military is you're always going to create outstanding memories. So I'm glad you shared that one with us. That sounds like a lot of fun. I wish I could have been part of that.
Whenever I talk about my career, it's unlike most people's career.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to travel abroad more than other people.
Yeah.
And I get sort of the same reaction of like you did what? And I'm like, I had a lot of really good. Like,
that's just really the aviation world.
Yeah, that's aviation in general. Because aviation is a huge asset when it comes to like ground forces or anything like that. You have to have an aviation unit supporting it. So that's really key to having like a successful force.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, or I should say your mind, what is the greatest thing? No, I don't want to say that. What is the most important thing to you for being in the Army?
The most important thing that the Army does for me, or the Army?
That's important to you about being in the Army.
Family.
Okay.
My units have all been really supportive of myself and my family, whether it was any illnesses that happen or extended family getting sick, just taking care of me as a person, treating me like a person, making sure that my family was taken care of, making sure that I got what I needed in order to recover from whatever happened, or my family recovered from what happened.
Yeah.
So I think sort of like the family aspect behind that. And that's just my personal family, but there's also like the Army as a family in general, right? Yeah. So anytime that something, maybe something stupid happened at work, so you hear all your other coworkers and stuff complaining, but they're your friends. They're the people that you work with on a constant basis. And I know aviation is actually kind of special when it comes to like chain of command and stuff like that, because in an aircraft, rank doesn't matter. Right. So an E2 who just got his crew chief, if he says something, the person in charge of that helicopter is going to listen to him. He has a voice, and rank means absolutely nothing. It's not going to go, well, you're a private, you don't know what you're talking about. No, if he says something like, hey, that's getting kind of close, or hey, we're flying into a flock of birds or something like that, the pilot's going to take you seriously. So the family that we build in sort of an aviation community is more tight-knit than you would expect. And those are the people who's, I'm doing maintenance on an aircraft. If I do something wrong or the maintenance is done improperly, that could potentially be up to 4 or more lives in my hands. So it's like putting your trust in someone else. Yeah. And that really brings up sort of the family in your unit as well.
Okay. So right now, you're a career counselor.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to become a career counselor?
So this was 2 reasons. I actually didn't volunteer, but only because I didn't think I was going to get put on orders. I was sort of at they didn't have anybody replacing me, so they didn't want me to PCS quite yet. And I was like, all right, well, if I do any broadening assignments, it's either drill sergeant, I go work at the school and teach people how to do my job, or I become a career counselor. And I was like, I don't like yelling at people. And it's honestly like the worst. I'm more of like the gentle giant trying to mentor people and make them understand what they did was, wrong or maybe not beneficial to them. So I'm not the person who's like, get on the ground and start crawling around in the dirt for 30 minutes so that you remember what you did.
I guess I am.
Some people have that leadership style, right? And it might work for some people, but that wasn't my specific style. And I try to treat people more with hey, you understand what you're doing is going to mess you up, right? And if you continue down this path, you're not setting yourself up for success. So it's more like that. It's like when your dad is disappointed in you. It's like the disappointing dad, right? Gosh. Yeah, it's more like disappointing dad. That's my leadership styles. I try to be like, what you're doing is wrong. Can you understand that? Not like what you did was wrong. Go ahead and crawl in the dirt so that you remember what you did was wrong. And some people do that. If you have like you didn't fill up your canteen or something like that. Well, now you're gonna do some canteen PT or something like that.
Yeah.
I went off on a huge tangent, and the point I was trying to make kind of like lost itself and all of that. I was talking about what was the question you asked me, man?
It's all good, man.
Okay.
Moving forward.
Okay.
So you asked me in my video, and I thought it was a really great question. Okay. Do you have any key figures that was like a mentor to you?
In basic training, I had a drill sergeant, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I went through a pretty difficult time in basic training specifically, and he had a very similar life experience going on at the exact same time. And after I got the news, I walked into his office and I said, "Drill sergeant, I'm not having a good time." And he took off his hat and was like, "Talk to me." All right. So he took off his hat, which means like, I'm more in the mentorship role, not like the drill sergeant. So I'm going to mentor you. He took off his hat, talked to me like a person. And he's like, "You wouldn't believe this, but old Drill Sergeant Blue," it was Drill Sergeant Blue, his last name was Blue, is going through a very similar experience. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? I'm like thinking to myself, I was like, what does that mean? It's like, what you'll find is it'll work out. All right, things happen for a reason. It's just gonna, it's gonna suck for the time being. And if you need to go talk to someone, you can. I'll allow you to do that. If you need to make a phone call, you can make a phone call. I'll go ahead and call up my leadership and let them know that you're coming down, so that you can make a quick 15-minute phone call to whoever you need to call, so that you can get basically some stuff worked out. Worked through that, was able to make my phone call, got everything situated, and I wouldn't say it died down, because it was still pretty like there throughout basic training, but he was always right there. And he's like, "You doing okay? How you doing today?" You wouldn't know this. Old Drill Sergeant Blue is going through something very similar. And so it kind of like throughout all basic training, he was there to motivate me through the challenge that I was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I kind of remember it was a totally different experience for me. I had a very technical job, so I had to leave early. I didn't even get a graduation or any of that. It's a very different experience for me.
So after my basic training, I was actually there longer than anybody else. Like there was one other person with me in a different bay. At the very end, I was basically in charge of cleaning up all 4 bays that we had for all of the platoons and stuff. And I just remember leaving with like a whole bunch of extra stuff, because people would leave like Gore-Tex jackets and
wow.
And I was just like, I can put this in my bag. This is expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, they left it, so either it's going to get thrown away or whatever. So
let me ask you this. What is the #1 factor that the Army has to have for you to say to continue to do 20 years? Like, what's the most important factor in your life? Man, that was all that.
Retirement?
So that has to have a retirement? That's the most important factor?
No, that's a...
Got him.
It's got to stay challenging.
So you want to be challenged?
I want to be challenged. Like, I fully intend to retire without the need for working by the time I'm 40. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to continue doing something afterwards. I'm just not going to need to do something. I'm going to want to do something.
Yeah.
So I need to be challenged on a day-to-day basis, whether it's whatever the next goal is, going to school. Maybe this class is too easy or something like that. Now I need to take a different class or a more challenging class or something. I just need to continue to be challenged by something, whether that's you at work or something. And it's like, you know, you're having a good day, and I'm like, man, he's having a good day. This really sucks. And I'm just like, I have to be challenged, right?
Yeah.
And it's got to maintain its challenge, or I guess I lose interest.
You get bored.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it can't be boring. And I think that's one thing that my job kind of offered, was it wasn't boring. I got to go fly. I have over 1,000 flight hours, and it was just fun.
Okay.
So
if you could describe yourself in one word, what would it be? I'm a prankster.
Mando.
That would be the one word.
I don't know. You told me, and I just looked at my bobblehead and I just said Mando.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Mando.
Is it true that you secretly want to be in the Navy?
Man, you gotta be kidding me. No. No. That I actually quickly made the decision not to join the Navy when I was brain shopping. It's like they tried too hard almost. They were like, the Navy's the best thing for you, blah, blah, blah,
we gotta get them on the show first thing.
We do. And I was like, why is it the best thing? And they didn't give me like a solid answer. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, that makes sense. And then it was like, how long would I be on a boat for? And they were like, well, you're in the Navy. And I was like, yeah, no thanks. So I quickly made the decision not to join the Navy because I didn't want to be stuck away from family.
Yeah.
For any amount of time, really. Yeah, so that was a quick decision for me.
Okay.
It took me like 15 minutes, and I was like, no, not the Navy.
Interesting.
Yeah. Personally, I mean, some people like that lifestyle. Nothing against you. It's just not my lifestyle. So.
Okay. What's the best way for the viewers to contact you?
Email? No.
Between two laptops?
Between two. That's a good one. Yeah. Posters, laptops. So anybody who wants to get in touch, obviously you can leave a comment in one of the videos that we share. We also have a link to our telephone numbers that you can call or text, our social media, Instagram or Facebook. You can message, Snapchat. If you have it, you can message us on Snapchat.
Yeah.
Really just a wide variety of ways to contact. Emails on there too. I will say that I get probably more emails than I do a text message in like the course of, just because all the leadership and stuff that we have always message us like updates to things, and it's like, I haven't checked my email in 30 minutes. I'm like, I have 15 emails. If you want information, we can transfer it over email, but typically it's not a great way to get in touch with us because sometimes it gets lost. So
okay. Do you have any closing comments for the viewers?
Comments, no, but I kind of have like a suggestion. I know I asked you for a suggestion at the end, and so I guess like I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again. Make one unrealistic goal for yourself at the time, and make little steps to get there. When I was growing up, I don't remember saying this, but I have pictures, and my mom always told me, like, when you were doing like your little career fair thing at your little, not middle school, but like pre-K or something like that, and you walked across the stage and you said what you wanted to be. I said co-pilot, and the only reason I said that is because my friend at the time who went in front of me, he knew that I wanted to be a pilot, so he said, I want to be a pilot. And I was like, I can't say the same thing as him, so I want to be a co-pilot. And at the time, you know, when you're like 5, 6, 7 years old, there's no way to become a pilot at the time.
Yeah.
But from my life, I've been making steady steps towards that goal. And right now it's basically within striking distance. Like,
that's good.
They've got, you know, I already have flight experience, not behind controls or anything, but I already know a lot of the regulations that I'm going to need to be studying. And now it's a realistic, attainable goal. So make something that's out there. If you want, shoot for this, you know, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you'll land amongst the stars, right? I never heard of that. Never heard of that, right?
Say it again.
Shoot for the moon, you know, but if you miss, at least you'll end up amongst the stars.
Oh wow!
Right?
I guess I'm cultured.
Right. So make your goal for yourself and make those steps to achieving that goal. If you just say, I want to be a pilot, I want to be a commercial pilot flying for United Airlines or something like that. If you do nothing to get yourself there, it is a goal that is never attainable.
Yeah.
You have to work towards it. Find the best way to go about doing that.
Okay.
So that's really it.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show and introducing, so the viewers know a little bit about yourself. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Listen, we're gonna be making videos every day. Check out our YouTube channel. Tell your family, your friends, members. we'll just be like every other person on YouTube. Subscribe, follow, like,
favorite,
help us out.
like, favorite, subscribe so you can see our content. But please don't. If you want to ask some questions.
I used to hate watching videos that do that, but it's like, I guess now we gotta say it. But hey, help us out. We appreciate everyone that's loyal. We're looking forward to meeting and hearing y'all's comments and all that fun stuff. So thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Now I gotta stand up to press the button.